viral mechanics and incentives are the name of the game with Telegram mini apps. If you can introduce those and you can do them in a simple, fun way that keeps people engaged, keeps people coming back every single day, then your app will reach millions of users. It's as simple as that, and has been proven literally more than 10, 15 times now by different projects.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unchained, your no-hype resource for all things crypto. I'm your host, Laura Shin, author of The Cryptopians. I started covering crypto 9 years ago, and as a senior editor at Forbes, was the first mainstream media reporter to cover cryptocurrency full-time. This is the July 23rd, 2024 episode of Unchained. Polkadot is the original and leading Layer 0 blockchain with over 2,000 plus developers. And the Polkadot 2.0 upgrade will be a massive accelerator for the ecosystem, making it faster, more secure, and adaptable. Perfect for GameFi and DeFi to build, grow, and scale. Join the community at polkadot.network/ecosystem/community. Today's topic is the recent rise of TON, or the Open Network. Here to discuss are Alena Schmalko, Ecosystem Lead at the TON Foundation, and Jack Booth, Director of Marketing at the TON Foundation. Welcome, Alena and Jack.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having us, Laura.
Yeah, exactly.
The Open Network, also known as TON, has recently been on a tear since late February. Its TVL has 34x'd, and we have seen that the TVL is at about 750 million. The price has more than tripled from about $2 to about $7 at the time of recording. Daily active addresses recently exceeded those of Ethereum in May and June. And there's a plethora of fun games with names like Hamster Kombat and Catizen that have been gaining traction. And Pantera Capital, which is an OG crypto VC firm, has been making what it calls its largest investments yet in TON. But before we dive into all these latest happenings, why don't we just start with your background? So Alena, why don't you tell us about your role and how you came to work at TON, and then we'll move to Jack.
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. First of all, thank you very much for having us. It's a great pleasure. So talking about me, I have a few years in crypto, starting with a few startups where I was involved in some operational roles. And then I started running my own accelerator for Web3 startups. And this is exactly where I, let's say, get familiarize myself with TON as such, because I had a chance to have a very, broad and high perspective overview of crypto as such, being in touch with different blockchains and different ecosystems. And so I picked TON because it had, to my mind, the largest potential across all other L1s and L2s. And this is exactly how I joined the ecosystem, being now ecosystem lead, overseeing support towards startups building on TON.
And Jack, how about you?
So I'm the CMO at the TON Foundation. Yeah, my history and story has really, I've been in marketing for many, many years now. I was working for a UK startup in 2020 when obviously COVID happened, lost my job and was rewarded with a government grant, which I then put into Bitcoin. And I had the amazing experience of going down the rabbit hole with crypto after that small investment at the time, where it doubled in a few months. And I thought, what is this crazy little world that I've got myself into? And so decided to pursue a career in crypto from 2020. Got in at Oasis Protocol first, and then later down the line, a few years later, now I've moved on to TON. So very, very happy to be at TON. And very happy with where the ecosystem's gone, because what we're seeing right now is with the tap to earn games is we're seeing a lot of games putting crypto into new users' pockets for the first time ever. And so it's very, very relevant to exactly the feeling that I had when I first got into crypto, when I first bought that bit of Bitcoin in 2020, where when you first get that first bit of crypto, you start to understand what it means. You start to understand why it's important, and you start to understand why it's an interesting thing. So it's not something that you can really tell people. And I think this is where Ton and our ecosystem is doing really the good work for the whole space, is by giving people a small bit of crypto to get started. They're getting interested and they're getting excited. They're finding out what ownership on the blockchain really truly means. And that's exciting for me. And it's exciting for actually millions of other people which are now playing these games on Ton. So that's a little bit about my background and why I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Laura.
So let's talk a little bit more about the origin story of Ton, because it started with the company behind the messaging app Telegram, which did a $1.7 billion ICO in 2018. However, most people listening to my show probably know the story that in 2019, the SEC secured a temporary restraining order to keep Telegram from selling or distributing what were to be called Gram tokens initially. And then later, court dealings with the SEC did not go in Telegram's favor. And so what eventually ended up happening was, Telegram split from this blockchain, but a group of developers decided in March of 2020 to launch the blockchain themselves. So can you fill us in on what happened with that effort and how we got to where Ton is today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the group of developers actually, there was a couple of them. They won a competition to get the keys to the open source software that at the time was Telegram Open Network. It's a completely different network from the state it's in today. So those developers are able to develop it now to a state which is obviously the high capacity, the high scalability that it has. It didn't have that when it was taken over. Basically, those developers, those initial two guys, they formed a loose organization called New Ton, and they were kind of bringing other developers, getting them excited about building Ton and becoming core developers. And then in 2022, the Ton Foundation was officially formed, and that's where the kind of growth period and has kind of started. So since then, and since the Ton Foundation has kind of kicked off, we've then had this partnership and collaboration with Telegram, where they've decided to continue building on Ton because of the excellent work that the core developers have made. And that really has been the catalyst for Ton's growth. Our integration with the wallet inside of Telegram means that you can send crypto to anyone just as simple as sending a text message in DMs. You can send Ton, you can send Bitcoin, you can send USDT, and now Notcoin as well, instantly for free using wallet in Telegram, which is the integrated wallet which comes in Telegram's settings menu. The wallet has now been rolled out globally outside of the US to all of the countries where Telegram is present. And the rollout will mean that the wallet is placed inside of the settings menu for all of those people. So basically, most Telegram users over the next few years will have a Ton wallet in their Telegram menu. And this is really the key collaboration, which is game-changing for us and game-changing for the ecosystem and the space in general. So that was kind of the first milestone. The second milestone that we had was a Notcoin launch, beginning of this year. In January, Notcoin launched in amazing fashion on New Year's Eve around the world and quickly grew. I think in the first month, it was 20 million users. And this was when we really understood, and I think the whole market really understood, actually, Telegram's distribution is real. Actually, it works. The integration is something to pay attention to. It actually brings millions of people and millions of users into not exactly crypto, because at that point, the mining phase of Notcoin, it wasn't really crypto, but it got people interested in this concept of earning something through a simple mechanism and with a potential payoff down the line. So I guess the third milestone that I want to mention, and I guess Alena can also add to this one, would be on the launch of the Open League in March. This Open League launch was kind of the major catalyst for all of our on-chain metric growth. It is a competition between the best projects on Ton that rewards projects for gaining new users and rewards users for using those projects. So it's a great competition. It's something that me and Alena have worked very, very closely on over the last 6 months. And it kind of makes up about 60% of the daily active wallets on Ton at the moment. So it's a massive contributor to the growth that we've had on chain.
Okay. And Alena, is there anything you'd want to add on that?
Yeah, sure. Like several things. So summarizing, like the role of Ton Foundation right now is basically to support this growth and to support particularly the founders and the builders that we have in the ecosystem, right? So from that core team of developers that Jack has told us about, we grew to a team, including like different people from the business side, like marketing team, etc., also responsible for promoting the brand of the chain itself, and so on and so forth. But definitely our main mission is to once again enhance and support this growth through different tools and programs and initiatives that we launch for teams building on our chain. And so, talking about the Open League, as Jack mentioned, it is really a major initiative in the ecosystem right now, once again contributing by around like 60%, talking about on-chain users, and then about 10% or even more now, I think around 15%, if we take TVL off the chain, which Laura, as you mentioned, has grown like immensely. So the Open League is an open battle for Ton teams. And the cool thing about it is that you don't have to develop on Ton for years. You can come, build a Telegram mini app on Ton, like implement some on-chain mechanics immediately, join the leaderboard, and win large prizes. We distribute these prizes to teams directly on a seasonal basis. So one season usually is around from 2 to 4 weeks long. And so at the end of the season, teams get these prizes. It's kind of a grant that they can use for like marketing purposes, for product development, for an airdrop for their community, which is absolutely amazing. And that we have not seen in any other ecosystem out there, just because these are rewards for being, main contributors to the growth of the ecosystem. And it definitely always comes from projects that are building along with us, along with our support. And apart from that, we also have a program, like an incentive program for liquidity providers on DEXs, on StoneFi and DDust, our two major decentralized exchanges in the ecosystem. So liquidity providers of Jettons, which is an ERC20 standard on Ton, and Toncoin are rewarded for putting their liquidity into pools. And also, we've had an amazing initiative that followed the launch of native USDT on Ton, which basically accounts for the largest proportion of the TVL growth. So yeah, it's been about it. I think Jack clarified the milestones properly. But yeah, I mean, we're very much excited about further growth, and now it's our mission to sustain it and to direct this flow of value and liquidity into different initiatives and programs.
Yeah, I mean, clearly things have gelled. And just to, before we get into more, into the details of what's been happening these last few months, I did also want to dive into details at the foundation, like who are the main players and how did they all come to be in their positions at the Ton Foundation?
The main players are Steve Yoon, who's the president of the foundation. He was actually one of the original community members of Ton, even before the SEC problems and issues. So he's been around from the very, very start. And he was the kind of driving force between creating an official nonprofit foundation that kind of brought together the core developers and then began to hire in the growth side of things, which was from the Alena's team, ecosystem development, dev relations, from my side, the marketing side, and the BD side. So there's 5 directors now, me being one of them, on the marketing side. We're tasked with achieving the TON's ecosystem goals, which is putting crypto in every pocket. And there's a big, hairy, audacious goal of 500 million Telegram users on chain by 2028. And that's the thing that we're all working towards as an ecosystem and as a community. But,
and the current number of Telegram users is what?
900 million monthly.
900 million. Okay, right.
Monthly, yeah. So we want to convert 30% of Telegram's monthly active users to TON users by 2028.
I mean, expecting the growth of monthly active users of Telegram as well, because
right.
I mean, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I wanted to ask a little bit more about this relationship with Telegram. So obviously, as we just mentioned, it started with Telegram. Then, because of the SEC action, TON developed on its own. However, last September, Telegram chose TON as the exclusive crypto network that would be built into the app. So how did that come about?
Well, Telegram was already building on TON before this. They built fragment.com, which is one of the kind of major use cases for TON that we have. It's totally unique to TON in that it's the first ever place you can buy a social media handle as an NFT and actually own it and use it. So fragment.com is where you can buy your own Telegram username as an NFT on TON blockchain. So they'd already built that, and they saw the success of that launch in that it netted them, not Telegram wasn't at the time a revenue producing business. And all of a sudden it netted them $150 million in NFT sales selling the usernames, right? So it was an extremely successful program for them, and it was then natural after that launch to start to collaborate more with TON Foundation and TON Blockchain and try to build a very close relationship that's helpful to both, right? Because for Telegram, it's helpful for them because we're helping grow the mini apps ecosystem, which Telegram has an open mini apps, third-party mini apps program where anyone can come on and build a Telegram mini app. And on our side, it helps with the distribution of our projects, because now with our projects all building Telegram mini apps, those are now distributed to Telegram's user base on a massive scale. And actually, Pavel Durov just announced, didn't tell us about it. We knew nothing about it, but he just announced in his channel a few days ago that they're going to create a app store inside of Telegram, and they'll be promoting TON's Web3 applications inside of that app store. So we're super excited for that to happen, and it'll be in the main user interface, I guess. We don't know any details of it as yet, but I guess it'll become part of the main user interface that you can go and find applications, mini apps, and start using them just within Telegram. So the collaboration is just improving all the time. It's a natural progression from where we first started. Obviously, Nikolai Durov and Pavel Durov were the creators of the original TON white paper. The technology has come a long way since then. They used it to launch the Fragment application, which was a massive success for them revenue-wise. And then they integrated the wallet, which made sense to them at the time. And now they're continuing this collaboration, trying to integrate more ways for blockchain to actually interface with the Telegram app. Telegram also uses TON for its payouts, creator payouts. So you can actually advertise in Telegram by paying in Toncoin. And then the creator of the channel, the owner of that Telegram channel, also gets paid in Toncoin as well, 50% of the revenue that Telegram makes from the ads. So there's so many ways that Telegram is looking to collaborate with TON. We're not a party to how they want to collaborate. They are third-party developers, so to speak. Really, only the wallet integration is the one thing that we've really properly collaborated on, with how that was going to look and how that was going to work.
Well, one other way that you're tied, though, is I believe that the Toncoin, I think I saw, makes up the greatest asset on Telegram's balance sheet. What percentage of Toncoin do they have? Pavel and Nikolai Durov.
I couldn't comment or answer that one. I'm not too sure exactly the amount that they hold. Wouldn't want to say in case I got it wrong.
Okay, but I just wondered, like, in this particular situation where even though you're working on this decentralized network, since it is focused on this one particular app, you said that really you're only working on the wallet, but there's no other points of kind of integration, or integration is maybe not the right word, but collaboration. It feels like there must be like pretty regular communication and collaboration.
Actually, no.
Yeah, and we learn like the majority of news just as anyone else from Durov's channel, right, Jack? So we just follow his channel and learn something new.
Yeah, literally, the whole announcement about them using Toncoin for the advertising platform, I didn't hear about that until Pavel announced it in his channel. And that was like a huge announcement for us because we had no idea about that, and no one did. So actually they don't talk to us at all about anything. In fact, they only really talk to the wallet team because the wallet is the only real integration they have. And so that's not our team at all. That's a total different company called Top, the open platform, who actually they run wallet, they run the DEX on Ton called Stomp. One of the DEXs on Ton called Stompfi. So and a whole load of other kind of good, really really good Ton projects are venture builded by Top. Sorry. So yeah, in terms of the foundation and what we get from Telegram, we don't really get that much information, to be honest. We didn't even know about Pavel's announcement of when he came onto stage at Token 2049, and he announced USDT with Paolo. We knew that was going to happen, but we didn't know that he was going to make the announcements of like Telegram stickers going to be on Tom blockchain and all of these other things that he's talked about there. So yeah, the collaboration is there, but it's probably more with wallet side than us at the foundation. And they're a third party builder, I guess, is what I try and say, position it as.
Okay.
Sorry, Laura, just to add one point on top. I was actually even counting the number of times that Pavel mentioned Ton at the stage at Token 2049, which also came as a complete surprise. Because, I mean, yes, we did know about the to-be appearance of USDT on Ton, but then all the other news came as a complete surprise. And also, Jack mentioned that Pavel announced the upcoming App Store, right? We don't have any details about it yet. And there's also an independent party, an independent team that is building Telegram App Center. They've been doing it for quite a while, more than a year now. And it's now the main catalog of Ton apps. And not only Web3 apps, by the way, Web2 apps as well. So for now, it still remains like the major point of discoverability, let's say, of different applications on Ton. We definitely highly recommend exploring it. And then just to add one more point on top of what Jack has already shared about the use cases. So Telegram mini apps remain the major use case for using different Web3 elements inside the messenger. And then we also learned about Telegram stars as the new way of making in-app purchases inside Telegram mini apps. And the cool thing is that Web2 developers will now be able to learn more about crypto through actually withdrawing their revenue in Toncoin, right? So they ask their users to pay in Telegram stars, but then they withdraw this revenue in Toncoin, which is by the same token, as Jack mentioned, the revenue sharing for community creators and owners of channels is just the same way to onboard more people into crypto, not end users here, but developers. And this is also something we're very much excited about.
Yeah, hearing you speak, it sort of makes me think of Ethereum and then like Consensus. But the only difference is it's almost like you're more like a Cosmos, and then there's all these like app chains or something. I don't know. It's like hard to explain. But anyway, one question that I was wondering is, as of this moment, the Ton blockchain is very focused on Telegram as a platform. But do you have any plans to integrate with any other apps?
It's a good question. And how I'd answer it and what I'd say is, do other chains have any plans to integrate into anything other than Google Chrome extensions? Like, what's the difference there? Telegram is an open platform with millions of users. Google Chrome is an open platform with millions of users. And so we have chosen and pursued a strategy of putting the front end of our applications inside of a messaging app. And it's a messaging app that will be around for forever, we hope. Telegram will continue to grow. Just like every other chain has relied on Google Chrome and Google Chrome extensions as that third-party platform to put their front ends, right?
Right.
So I would say it's more similar to that kind of relationship in that we want to put our apps in something that can be easily shared, make the apps incredibly viral and easy to get started. And in Telegram, with the mini apps platform, they have made that very, very easy to do. And so that's why we encourage projects to launch there as like the primary surface to interface with the blockchain in a Telegram mini app. But that doesn't stop them from creating websites as well. In fact, the dexes that we have now, Stonefire, DDust, they have mini apps, but they also have a working website that you can navigate to from any web browser. So I guess it's more of a platform choice versus like I wouldn't say it centralizes Ton to be reliant on Telegram because of that reason. Like, it's just another surface which you can display your application in. And it makes it easier for application developers because they don't have to develop a whole app themselves that people then have to download. Instead, you just hit one button in Telegram, boom, mini app pops out, and you can start using it immediately. No need to download anything. No need to navigate away from Telegram app itself. So that we made those choices and those strategic design decisions because of the onboarding dilemma that crypto faces. Right? It's just so difficult to get people to go set up an exchange account, fund that account from their bank account, then go and install a Chrome extension, then fund their wallet from the exchange account, then start participating on the blockchain and learning all of these little different steps and intricacies of each different chain. Like, that just doesn't exist on Ton, right? You get started with any of the apps. They don't require anything to get started, actually. And then later down the line, they're educated and taken step by step into creating a wallet, which is so simple. In Telegram, it's actually one touch, 2 taps into creating the wallet in Telegram. And then once you've got that, it then lives in your settings menu forever. And then most people will actually already have that by the end of this year, maybe, should be by the end of this year. Most people on the planet with Telegram will already have the wallet in their settings menu. So it just makes onboarding a breeze. It adds virality to all of the applications, and that's why we're seeing so many users adopting Ton applications now inside of Telegram, because it's a better design decision.
Yeah. Clearly, there's like an ease of use advantage doing it this way. And yes, even though I am in the US, I was able to access some of these features.
Oh, good. So, one of the lucky ones.
In a moment, we will talk more about the blockchain and some of its features and these mini apps. But first, a quick word from the sponsors who make this show possible. Polkadot is the original and largest Layer 0 blockchain with over 2,000 plus developers. And the anticipated Polkadot 2.0 upgrade will be a massive accelerator for the ecosystem, upgrading the infrastructure with 8 times higher transaction throughput and twice as fast block times, perfectly tailored core time for the needs of every protocol, trustless bridges internally and into Ethereum, Cosmos, Near, Binance Smart Chain, and revised tokenomics and the implementation of a token burn to reduce inflation. Perfect for GameFi and DeFi to build, grow, and scale with one of the most active crypto communities in the space. Polkadot recently announced a partnership with Mythical Games, bringing top games like NFT Rivals with over 650,000 players and 43 million transactions to pave the way for GameFi in the Polkadot ecosystem. Get your Web3 ideas to market fast with economics that work for you. Think big, build bigger with Polkadot. Join the community at polkadot.network/ecosystem/community. Back to my conversation with Alena and Jack. So let's talk about the Ton blockchain. What would you say are the features that set apart this blockchain from some of the others?
I think it's very, very clear. And once again, we've talked about it today as well already. And it's the distribution, of course. Like, yes, Ton is very scalable thanks to it inherent architecture, and then very fast because we've set the record for the speed. It was last autumn. But I think
can you give a few more details on the architecture and the speed?
Yeah, so thanks to sharding technology, which is basically the main element of the architecture, like Ton blockchain is deemed one of the most scalable. And then we're definitely working on improving the scalability further on. And last autumn, I think it was something like October or November, we set a record for the fastest, being the fastest blockchain, achieving the speed of 100,000 transactions per second. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was
104,700 transactions per second it got to. Yeah.
That was done in an isolated environment, right? So we still need to definitely improve it for real life conditions. And this is something that a lot of teams are working on right now. But then the distribution, as Jack was saying, you cannot find any other place where so many people sit at the same time, so 900 million monthly active users all in one single place, let's say ready to be onboarded into crypto. And this is exactly something we're focusing on. And then I just wanted to make a step back, Laura, your question about why we're focusing so much on Telegram. Definitely we do not require every team in the Ton ecosystem to focus on a Telegram mini app exclusively. That can be seen as an onboarding tool, essentially, right? So developers can build a Telegram mini app to onboard people from Telegram and then direct them to the web app in the original sense. Because all our DeFi protocols, major DeFi protocols, including DEXs, they started with a web app, essentially, and they continue working on it just because people are used to getting involved into DeFi using their browsers, right? Not a Telegram mini app. So, and there is one new case, which is Bloom, a hybrid exchange that is building, they're building a cross-chain, a multi-chain product, focusing on Ton majorly. But how they are onboarding their users now is through a very simple clicker game. There is no core functionality in the app yet, right? But they are already onboarding millions of users into the mini app through very, very simple, very easy mechanics. And then they're going to educate these people and onboard them into something more complex, like making transactions on chain, making cross-chain swaps, etc., etc.
Huh. Yeah. So let's now talk about these mini apps, or really the games, honestly, because that's what all the buzz is about on Telegram. So first, you kind of gave a small overview, but you just mentioned that the first game that really took off on Telegram was Notcoin, and it's a clicker game, click to earn. But just for people who aren't super familiar, just explain, especially in the US, I'm sure you're aware, we don't have full access to everything. So explain how Notcoin game works and why you think it took off.
So it's one of my favorite topics to talk about because Notcoin was just so incredible at doing it. The reasons it very simply took off: viral mechanics. So they had referral system from the very start, and incentives. These two concepts, if you can master these as an application in Telegram, you will find millions of users and you'll find them quick. It's been proven multiple times now. I've no doubt in saying this. It's all due to the referral mechanics in Telegram. In the Notcoin, it was this simple to refer. I would go into the app, I would go to my friends tab, I would click share with friends, and then I could highlight my entire contact list. They would then be pinged a referral link, which would then earn me Notcoins at the time. It's something that every single one of the projects, tap to earn projects, has now copied, that referral mechanic. And it's incredibly powerful because that friend that receives that link just taps once and is straight into the gameplay. No need to mess around with a wallet, no need to set up anything, no need to download a new app. It's there, open straight away. So viral mechanics is the first thing. And then incentives. Obviously with Notcoin, it's Notcoins. With another one which has grown even bigger than Notcoin, which is called Hamster Kombat. It's Hamster token, where you're acting as the CEO of your own crypto exchange. And different to Notcoin, instead of just tapping to earn, now they include tap to earn, but then you can use those coins to buy things that make you profit per hour. And so the actual airdrop of the Hamster token is going to be based on the profit per hour, which is interesting because it's more of an engagement thing. How engaged are you in the game? Your profit per hour basically suggests that. So yeah, viral mechanics and incentives are the name of the game with Telegram mini apps. If you can introduce those and you can do them in a simple, fun way that keeps people engaged, keeps people coming back every single day, then your app will reach millions of users. It's as simple as that, and has been proven literally more than 10, 15 times now by different projects.
So I did want to ask, though, just what you thought the quality of these users was, because so honestly, the viral aspect where you refer your friends, like that reminded me of Farmville back in the day on Facebook. Like, I don't know how old you guys are, but
Yeah, I used to play Farmville.
Right, like games took off on Facebook at a certain point,
Yeah.
and it was very much a similar mechanism. But in this kind of instance, it seems like Notcoin could rack up a bunch of users who weren't necessarily going to stick around or who didn't, really play on a regular basis. And same with Hamster Kombat. So Hamster Kombat got 200 million users in the first 3 months, which the team is going to try to get into the Guinness Book of World Records for. Its YouTube channel gained over 10 million subscribers in 1 week. It's currently at 34 million subscribers. But as far as I understand, a lot of this is just because to earn some of the coin, you have to go and watch these videos. So I feel like it's raising that question that we keep seeing over and over again of whether the users are the mercenaries or the missionaries, and if they'll just go away the second a better incentive comes along somewhere else. So what do you think of that? What do you think is going to happen?
I could answer, Elena, one point, and then I'll let you take it away. But the projects have kind of two choices. They can launch, and then they can expect users to come to their project, or they can build a community and then work to convert that community and retain them to stay. Tom projects choose the latter, whereas most projects in Web3 have tried and chosen the former and not been necessarily as successful at onboarding a mass audience. It's a different strategy. It's building a community around the incentives first. And it takes a different tact from other airdrops in the past, where, as I've said, all of those steps that you needed to take in order to even start beginning to qualify for an airdrop, right? To get on chain, right? You needed to do all of those things, fund the accounts, to get the Chrome extension, all that stuff. It removes all of that. You go straight into just doing some things of value for the project. Hamster Kombat, for instance, is a great example, because what has Hamster Kombat done? Well, they've designed a system which sends people to subscribe to them on YouTube. What does that do for them? Well, it's obviously hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in ad revenue from YouTube, right? So there is an incredible thing going on here in that the communities are being built first. They're getting incredibly excited and interested in the project and what they're going to do after the mining phase. The mining phase is just the one part of the launch. And instead of it being this, there's been this massive thing in crypto, isn't there? Like high FTV, low float situation with lots of these projects. Like, this has been a major meme of this cycle, right? This is the opposite of that. This is like most of the tokens is getting airdropped to the community straight off the bat. And it's up to the community to stay around and see if they like the token and like the project after the mining phase has happened. So Notcoin has pivoted into now providing traffic to new projects so they can help, they can grow. And projects have to buy that traffic with Notcoins. So now Notcoin has a utility in and of itself. And maybe projects will go down the traffic route. Maybe they'll go down a different route entirely. For instance, Bloom that Alena mentioned. Bloom is a different kettle of fish entirely, because they've already delivered the product roadmap. The tap to earn phase, they've already said that's a phase, and after that we're going to be an exchange. So what they do and what the utility they provide for the token is unclear as yet. But what they've chosen to do is build a fantastic community of now, I can't remember exactly the number of Bloom players, but I think it's like 30 million people.
Probably more than 50. I mean, you see, we already lost count because there's so many of them, and so many of them have already reached like 50 million people.
Exactly. And so they've chosen to go the route of building the community first with exciting incentives and easy to use games. And then they're going to convert them into an exchange where they can then find value through the features of that exchange. Right. So,
yeah, one question, though, is like a lot of people are surmising that some significant percentage of these users are bots as well. So then in that case, again, are you viewing that as like real activity? Or
I can take this one. So even judging from the real numbers, right, from like official statistics that, for example, the Notcoin team has released recently. So they announced that they had more than 30 million people playing the game, the off-chain game, the original one, right, before the TGE and token listing. 35 million people, let's say. And then 11 million people claimed Notcoin, either on-chain or on the off-chain accounts, like on centralized exchanges. And then Notcoin now has more than 2.4 million on-chain holders. So it's something around 6% of conversion rate from that off-chain player to an on-chain holder of Notcoin right now. So
I'm sorry, you said that was 6%?
Yeah, if we count those like 2.4 million people who are holding Notcoin on-chain now. Yeah, and then 11 million people claimed it overall. So it's 1/3.
Okay.
If I'm counting correctly. Yeah, but we can stick to 1/3. Even like 30% conversion rate from off-chain to
or it's like 20% if it's from 11 to 2.4.
No, wait. So 11 million out of 35 million. That's 1/3 of people who claimed Notcoin, both on-chain and off-chain, because Notcoin was launched on several centralized exchanges and people could transfer it from the game to their account on centralized exchange, right? So that's 11 million people. We can stick to 1/3. That's quite a good conversion rate. And then we have another case, Catizen, one of the most successful and popular play to airdrop games. They're not just a clicker game. That basically implemented on-chain mechanics very early. So unlike Notcoin that implemented on-chain only after the TGE, Catizen was an on-chain game basically from almost the very start. And their conversion rate, according to one CoinDesk article, is around from 6 to 7%, which is very high compared to the market average. Which is once again a proof of what games on Ton can do, even before the TG and the token launch, right? So if we judge from these numbers, we're good. Definitely a lot of space for improvement, but once again, it's on the shoulders of the teams to create, to set, to design these complex roadmaps and to show their community that it's not over once the TG is over, that they're going to continue building fun and entertaining games, or launching trading bots or quest platforms or an e-commerce platform, just as Catizen plans to do. And from our side, from the side of Tom Foundation and other institutions in the ecosystem, we are committed to supporting them. And the Open League is a case in point here, right? Just because we're rewarding their users to get involved into other products and protocols in the ecosystem. So, for example, players of Notcoin or Gamey or Catizen, they can now go to DEXs and earn like a lot of rewards and like points and money, providing liquidity, for example, or getting involved into some activity on a lending protocol, EVA, or on a perp DEX, Stormtrade. And more activities are expected to appear very soon. So this is from our side. So that this is definitely like a joint mission. It's very cool that we're attracting such a large audience that we have found this way of really making waves in the Web3 space in terms of the numbers. But this is definitely on us to understand how to sustain this growth. And this is something we're working on right now.
Yeah, so it's like you attract with these incentives, and even if some percentage of them are bots, then from the real users that you get, you're working on creating incentives for them to keep going and to like really build something from that base, even if the rest go away. Well, so as you mentioned earlier, USDT or Tether launched on Ton back in April. And already there's $730 million worth of Tether in use on the Ton blockchain. How is it being used here?
So just before we touch on that, I wanted to just give the overview of the funnel here, because this is essentially what the whole thing is. It's like it's a funnel. It's a conversion funnel for someone to be a Web2 person, doesn't care about crypto, to be a Web3 user, cares and uses crypto, right? Like that's what I think most chains and most people in the space are here trying to do in their own ways. We're thinking about this from first principles, in that if we have a bucket of 900 million users and we want to get them to do some kind of on-chain action, we can't force them to do it. We need to show them the way. And so the tap to earn thing is an easy way to get people engaged, get them interested, put a little bit of crypto in their pocket through the airdrop. Then, as I said right at the very top of the call, then you have this interesting thing where now I'm an owner of a token, an owner of a project. I'm interested and I'm excited about it. Then we have the Open League, which is the next step. Or sorry, before the Open League, then we have USDT, which is now digital dollars that I can send for free instantly to anyone in DMs globally, right? So this is a global product which I can now pay anyone using if I have their Telegram.
And when you say global, does that include the US or no?
No, doesn't include the US because
it's not. I mean, not through the wallet itself, not through the wallet, the wallet in Telegram, but you can definitely like on chain using any browser extension like Tonkeeper, MyTon Wallet, Ton Hub, all those self-custody wallets on the Ton chain.
Yeah, and just to make clear for listeners, hopefully most of them will know this if they've been listening to my show, but I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that that's just because of what's been going on in the US with regulatory issues, especially with the SEC. Is that it? Like if things were to change with the SEC, then would that block be lifted?
Of course, yes. Like the issue is that Telegram and Ton have been burned in the past by the SEC. No one has the desire for that to ever happen again. And so we're focused on the rest of the world for now. If the atmosphere and environment changes in the US, perhaps it would be reconsidered, yes. But for the moment, the wallet integration in Telegram is not available to US users by default and won't become so until there's a serious change in how the US is approaching regulations.
There are more countries where like the wallet is not available, like it's not the US only.
True.
There's sanctioned countries as well, like North Korea and others. Yeah, just to be 100% fair here. But a very important point here is that, Laura, you mentioned that like you being in the US, you cannot access some functionality. This only regards the wallet. And this is important to mention, right? You can easily access any Telegram mini app. And to make, for example, purchases or get involved into some DeFi stuff inside Telegram mini apps, you can easily use any of the self-custody wallets on Tonchain. Like once again, Tonkeeper, Ton Hub, MyTon Wallet, it doesn't I mean, you shouldn't avoid doing it. You should do it. This just works as with MetaMask on Ethereum, on any other chain.
Yeah. So, Jack, you were finishing your funnel description.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. So, so the wallet in Telegram is like this amazing user experience. Like it's incredible to use. It pops up in Telegram. You can store your Bitcoin, your Notcoin, your USDT there, and you can send all of that instantly for free to your friends globally. So it's an incredible first use case for anyone to start using crypto, right? So when you go from a tap to earn and you don't necessarily want to get into some complex DeFi stuff, the wallet in Telegram serves as this initial first step to get people interested in, oh, now I can send money to my friends in Telegram. And that's super easy to do. And that's the first initial step. And then we have the Open League, which is introduced to people very, very easily. It's actually inside of the self-custodial wallet inside of Telegram as well. So you can actually access the Open League pools. You can start getting involved in providing liquidity to some of the projects in the Open League very easily through an Open League bot. And that's the last step, right? That's the degen step. So we've got the tap to earns for everyone. Then a portion of those people can convert to sending crypto globally in DMs, super easy for anyone to do. And then a portion of those people will begin to start to use the more complicated DeFi products on Ton. And this is the whole setup. This is the whole system, and this is what we're trying to build. And this is what the strategy is really to help enable this to happen at the foundation. We see this as being the most efficient route, and we see the ways we can optimize this whole funnel. And we work with the community teams and contributors to make this happen. And we see it happening, and it's working. So we're excited to progress down this route.
Yeah. And one other aspect that I heard about was that there's a trustless bridge for users to bridge their Bitcoin to the Ton network that's in the works. And I wondered when you expected that to launch. And I was curious, like, what you thought might happen once Bitcoin holders can do that.
I actually don't know if I can say anything about the launch date. It's too soon, but it's certainly coming very, very soon. I'm super excited about it because this, for me, would be the next USDT level asset and the next thing that goes into that pool of those users after tap to earn. Now, then you have USDT and you have Bitcoin, and we believe that Bitcoin can be a similar asset to USDT in the Ton ecosystem, in that it can grow extremely rapidly fast, and we'll be helping it to do that as best as we can. And it can be extremely valuable to the DeFi ecosystem inside of Ton, because now all of a sudden you've got this Bitcoin asset backed 100% by Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain that's trustlessly bridged over, that is basically effectively like a better version of wrapped Bitcoin. It's a trustless version of wrapped Bitcoin, right? It doesn't actually have an intermediary in between the Bitcoin network and the Ton network. It uses the validators of the Ton network itself to actually validate the Bitcoin ledger itself. So there's no one holding the keys. It's all done through smart contracts. So it's a totally trustless and transparent bridge, which makes it very different to many of the other bridges out there today, and effectively makes it as close to real Bitcoin as possible, but on Ton chain. So where I'm so excited about this to actually happen is the DeFi ecosystem in Ton, and how we can incentivize and get people to really make better use of their Bitcoin on Ton through the lending protocols, through the DEXs that we've got, through the liquidity pools, and maybe even more complex cases than that. So yeah, super excited about that launch. I can say it's coming quite soon. Definitely this year. We'll be very excited to see that come about.
Yeah. It seems like Bitcoin users have a lot to look forward to generally, because even in their ecosystem, they're going to be new ways for them to use their Bitcoin. I did want to ask also about a Fortune article that ran about illicit activity that takes place on Ton, in which channels can sell everything from guns to heroin to stolen stimulus checks. And there was a criminology professor who was quoted as saying, quote, creating a Telegram account is easier than creating a Facebook account. And he also said Telegram now is the place for criminals. So I wondered, so, as we discussed, there's this ad network. People can earn money for ads on their content. So the article pointed out that criminals on Telegram could earn money for the ads on their content. They could be paid in crypto. They could also be paid in crypto for their illicit goods via the Ton wallet. And I wondered how the foundation was thinking about these issues and whether there was any way to prevent or mitigate the use of the Ton network or the Ton wallet for this illicit activity.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable question, and it's a reasonable issue that we're going to need to tackle at some point. Our focus is really, as I say, it's on this funnel and how we bring Web3 to the masses. That's where all of our team is focused. And in terms of illicit activity and things like that happens on every single chain. It's part and parcel of what blockchain is possible to use, right? It's possible to use it for that reason, and that's why we have great partners like Elliptic who help to do the kind of criminal transaction AI stuff that searches for these types of wallets and helps bring them to the authorities and works with the wallet team in Telegram to really to rid them of that activity. So in terms of the foundation, we work on a decentralized ecosystem, so we don't necessarily have control over what goes on any transaction on Ton. Ton itself runs by itself, and these things that happen there, they are an issue, but it's up to the project that's actually enabling that to stop them from stop illicit activity, right? So if it happens in wallet, it needs to be wallet that's the one dealing with that problem. It needs to be wallet's compliance team, and that's exactly why Alena pointed out earlier. There's other countries outside of the US that are banned in wallet, like for instance Iran, and other sanctioned countries like North Korea, where they don't have any services and you can't use wallet there. So those teams themselves, the centralized teams, are the ones that are working to rid themselves of that activity. And for us at the foundation, we're just focused on enabling the Web3 ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to point out as well is that it's as always a joint effort of different independent teams like us as Ton Foundation, and then Telegram, of course, playing a major role here. And by the way, Telegram has always been not really accused, but people always point out that risk about Telegram, right? From the very beginning, from the very inception of the messenger as such. And then the wallet team, and for example, project teams, they can work with special marketing and PR agencies to run their ads campaigns. And of course, their moderation team would never allow any ad about some illicit product to be run, right? And it's on the shoulders of each team. And this is exactly, the good thing about it, just because there is no single player responsible for making sure such an activity never takes place. It's a joint effort, and we're definitely working on it hard.
All right. Well, Ton obviously has seen a ton of traction this year. And as we have been discussing, there are multiple ways that this kind of flywheel has already started going. So what's next? What are you looking at as the next milestones you'd like to hit?
Yeah, so we actually have very clear and very exciting and impressive milestones ahead, to reach 1 billion in TVL by January of 2025, and then 100 million on-chain users, on-chain wallets by January 2025 as well. How we're going to do it in terms of TVL, Laurie, you mentioned the number. We're currently at more than 740 mil, something like that. Haven't checked today, but should be somewhere there. The thing is that, as I mentioned, this growth is obviously incentivized by the rewards we were giving to liquidity providers on DEXs, especially after the launch of USDT. And because the yields were super attractive, we were working hard on that program, and we're continuing actually going into phase 2 right now. So it literally started today. We are going to continue rewarding users for holding their liquidity on the chain. And then also, finding and coming up with new ways of where to direct this liquidity once the major incentive program is over. Because, nothing can last forever, and definitely rewards and incentives are going to finish at some point. And our goal now is to create a very thriving and a very multi-sided DeFi landscape, so that people can see more opportunities or where to direct their liquidity inside the ecosystem, like lending protocols, perp dexes, yield farms, liquid staking, whatever. Like, we're working very hard with different teams, like with those existing teams on Ton that have shown great progress, and then with new teams. We've just literally finished the hackathon. We managed to attract more than one. Jack, what was the number? Like 1,000 applications, I think, right? 1,000 teams have joined the.
It was over
initiative.
1,200 applications to the hackathon.
Yeah, and so a lot of complex DeFi products are coming because we're very good with fundamentals. So we're well covered in terms of like DEXs and perp DEXs and lending protocol, but then we definitely need more use cases. So this is exactly where the Open League as the major initiative is headed, right? So we're going to continue giving rewards, but doing it very like reasonably, and also learning from the experience of other chains who also, repeated this journey in terms of attracting a lot of liquidity and then experiencing a large drop as well. So the major effort is now directed towards that not happening on the Ton chain. And then a lot of community activities, of course. Jack, you want to cover that part?
Yep. So in terms of the community now, we have Ton Society. So Ton Society is our at the moment it's like a grassroots movement kind of structure, similar to how like sport is run in the UK, where you have like these kind of small regional teams that work to find and scout for people to be a sports person, right? The idea is that we want to incubate in regional areas and local areas and run events, get people active and engaged in blockchain in local spaces, and do that globally in multiple regions. We have 9 regions now across Ton Society, and we're expanding to 5 more in the next 6 months. And that'll mean more local events coming to people's areas, and it will also mean like more decentralization. We hope that more leaders will come up through Ton Society ranks, and in the end start their own projects or start to contribute independently towards Ton's ecosystem goals. So so yeah, Ton Society is massive for us, and it will be a core focus of what we'll be spending a lot of time on over the next 6 months. Ton Society also was the guys that ran the Open League hackathon and boot camps, and so we'll be doing another round of boot camps and hackathon in October. Actually haven't announced that yet, so there you go. There's a little bit of a alpha for people that stayed until the end, but there'll be another round of hackathons, which was just so successful last time, and it's just so nice to see all of these teams that have been contributing to the Ton ecosystem now actually like on the live stream that we had actually last Friday, where 23 teams kind of prepared and presented their projects to the ecosystem, and are in the running to win $2 million from that, right? So those teams will go straight from that hackathon into the Open League and begin earning rewards if they win, in the Open League, and start to get users from the Open League as well. So the Open League really is working to get users into new projects, and that's why it's really exciting for projects, because we've seen that the amount of token holders for the projects in the Open League has increased something like 13, 15 times from when we started in March. I think there was about 120,000 Jeton holders. So Jeton is the token standard on Ton, kind of like ERC20. And now since then, we now have like over 1.6 million Jeton holders just of Open League tokens, right? So the Open League is really the catalyst for people coming in and becoming a user of a new project. And it's really exciting to see it do that. And it's increasing competition in the ecosystem. So these new teams that come from the Ton Society will then move into the Open League, become major projects on Ton. And we've got that pathway on the developer side as well. So it's not just the user side that we're building out, it's also the developer side, and how we're moving developers on from becoming a Web2 developer into Web3 on Ton. And yeah, so that's a big focus for us on the community.
Yeah, honestly, just through this conversation, I feel like so much of what you guys are doing is like gamifying so many aspects of just, being part of this ecosystem. So yeah, it's interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Well, thank you both so much. Where can people learn more about each of you and Ton?
Yeah, so for me, it's Twitter probably. And then we have, oh my God, so many
And
official
do you want to give
channels.
your handle?
Yeah, actually, I always forget how it's written. It's like Alenka W3. It's also downspace somewhere. We'll need to check.
Okay, well, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, just search for Alena on Ton, and I think you'll find her.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and then we have so many official channels. What's our handle on Twitter? It's like Ton Blockchain, as simple as that.
Yep, Ton Blockchain. You can find us on Telegram at Toncoin. You can find the Open League at League. And you can find me as well on Twitter at jbfx.me. And yeah, I'm always posting a lot about how to get started on Ton, and really focused on introducing people to Ton on my Twitter. So yeah, super great chat. Thank you so much, Laura, for this. Hope your listeners and viewers will learn something today about Ton. That's our goal.
Well, I know I did, so I'm sure they did too. Well,
Awesome.
Thank you both so much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks so much for joining us today. To learn more about Alena and Jack and the Ton ecosystem, check out the show notes for this episode. Unchained is produced by me, Laura Shin, with help from Matt Pilchard, Juan Aranovich, Megan Gavis, Pam Majumdar, and Margaret Correa. Thanks for listening. Unchained is now a part of the CoinDesk Podcast Network. For the latest in digital assets, check out Markets Daily, 5 days a week, with host Noel Atchison. Follow the CoinDesk Podcast Network for some of the best shows in crypto.